Hello, welcome to the Maurice Parker channel. This is Maurice Parker, just giving you guys an update on the Week 18 game so far. Just telling you what I've seen from the Ravens and Browns games, as well as the Steelers and Bengals games. Let's get into it. First thing I noticed again with the Ravens and Browns games, it was total domination by the Baltimore Ravens. They controlled offenses of the game, offense, defense, special teams. Derrick Henry rushed for 2 touchdowns, had 1,900 yards. Just spectacular. I think he's the first player to ever rush for basically nearly 2,000 yards and not win the rushing title, which is crazy because that goes to Saquon Barkley, of course. Lamar Jackson is just doing Lamar Jackson things. It's been spectacular to see him go transition into his greatness. I believe that he has done a wonderful job of basically just proving himself right. I love the fact that he is out there playing his game. The only concern for the Baltimore Ravens is the receiver started to get injured. You saw Bateman go down after a hard hit, but he came back. Zay Flowers is down, so he might be done for the first playoff game. At this point, you just want to stay healthy, stay focused, stay driven. Cleveland is a disappointing season as it has been for them. They've only won 3 games, 3-14 in their season. I know that they fought hard and was resilient throughout. But unfortunately, it didn't go that way for them. I think this season has just been an eye opener for them that it's hard to win in the NFL. And you're playing the toughest division with quarterback play was not the best. Let's just be honest. It was not the best. Offense could have did better. You had stars coming back from injury, people getting injured. There was time the best quarterback for them, honestly, was Jameis Winston, although he threw some interceptions, touchdowns, but he provided a spark for them, and I think that was very important for them. But obviously, they chose to go in another direction, and unfortunately, it just cost them a lot of games. Now, moving on to the game of the night between my Steelers and the Cincinnati Bengals. First of all, I got to say this: congratulations to the Baltimore Ravens for being the Kings of the North this year, back to back. My Steelers had chances. We didn't execute. First of all, the Bengals did a wonderful job of the game plan. Corey Trice was just basically getting beat by Jameer Chase, who is the best receiver in the National Football League. It just didn't matter. It was short routes, long routes. He was not confident in himself. It looked like he was giving up on routes at time in the end zone. Honestly, it could have been way worse. It's just that Jameer Chase just dropped the end zone, go ahead touchdown. But he did try. He tried, but it just wasn't his way. My biggest thing was with George Pickens. There was times where he had one completion, one catch out of 4 or 5 attempts, and it was just really unbecoming of him because we're so used to him catching the ball, and yet he was not running the routes completely, running the wrong routes, and arguing with the fans. My thing is, man, don't argue with the fans. You're on the field playing the game of football. Don't listen to what they say. I know people could say entitled to say rude or whatever things. You're playing in the field. You're living your dream. You have your teammates and stuff. I know it's frustrating when you are not playing the best football and hundreds of thousands of people are on the stands and millions of people are watching TV and then see and you have not had your best performance. Words do hurt, but at the same time, sometimes you guys zone it out. It's about those guys in there. Run your routes completely. I'm not saying that you don't run routes, but I'm saying that you can run them better. And I think that's my biggest thing. Run your routes better. Don't argue with the fans. Don't be a knucklehead. Just do routine things. Show some growth because at this point, it's looking like you're being detrimental to the team as far as you got to learn how to control your passion. I think my biggest thing with George Pickens is control your passion, use it in a way. I like the fiery competitor in you, but you got to learn how to channel these emotions, or else what's going to happen is you're going to get teams who are know that we can say whatever we want to. We know that we may not be had the talent to cover him, but we know if we get inside his dome, get inside his head, he's going to be a non-factor, and that helps us better win the game. Russell Wilson, unfortunately, this was not one of his best games, particularly as far as he was holding it. But it was just apparent in the game if you noticed that they all they had to do was just get close to him because he did not have the escapability as he did when he was younger to get away from the ball. Yes, he could detect and see him coming, but not throwing the ball away. I actually lobbied a few times that we should have had Justin Fields in the game in some package or something. We need to mix it up on them, especially in the playoffs, because for me personally, it just was apparent that they had a game plan that we're going to rush for Hendrickson, and we're going to rush for. We're going to make sure that we're going to start going backwards. There was critical times in the fourth quarter when there was 30 seconds left, and Russell Wilson could have threw the ball away. That would have saved us some time. But instead, he ran. He didn't get out of bounds. He tried to lower his shoulder and actually could have potentially got hurt. We didn't have to use a timeout. 20 seconds left. No, he throws a dime to Firemove, and Firemove dropped it. I believe Firemove should have caught it, but Firemove prior to that was really the only offensive weapon that was catching the ball consistently up until that point. We had missed opportunities when the momentum changed for me earlier. So when we got a 3-and-out, and Calvin Austin fumbles the ball because he's holding it like this. You hold the ball tight to your body, so that way if somebody tries to rip it out, at least you had the fortitude to hold on to the ball. Yes, the defense had some forced fumbles that went the Bengals' way. Hey, sometimes the ball doesn't bounce your way. The defense kept us in this game. We just didn't execute. And now we're on a 4-game skid going into the playoffs, which means losing screwed going into the playoffs. We most likely will either play. We either are going to play the Ravens or the Texans. It depends on this game tonight at 4:25 because if the Chargers win, would you go to Baltimore? If the Chargers lose, we go to Houston. Going into the playoffs on a 4-game skid is not a good sight. We have not won the playoff game since 2016. I do believe that's going to change this year. I do believe we can go far in the playoffs. I'm just optimistic by that. I would rather us lose now to lose down the road, but we got a lot of things to clever up. At some point, we got to realize our identity. Dante Jackson coming back needs to happen to be important for us. We got Deshaun Elliott back. I think for us to win playoff games, it's very simple. Honestly, we're going to have to tell our defense that, you just got to hold opponents to like 10 points or less. Offense has to make a spark happen. Either we're going to have to get the ball first and we're going to have to score, or we're going to tell our defense that you need you to get 3-and-outs right away. As far as Royce Pickens goes, you just got to start running routes better. Don't let people get in your head. You are a great wide receiver. It's just the talent that you had to possess has just not been the best these last few weeks. And I don't know if the Kansas City game that you was just enamored about Mahomes or Kelsey and you're saying the best in the world. I get it; those guys are Hall of Fame caliber players, but at the same time, you weren't going to be in a Hall of Fame caliber player for your team. Whatever team you are on, you want to be the best product on your team. So that way, if you're no longer with the Steelers or whatnot, that we could at least say, you know what, he gave his best, he gave his all for us. Just do the best that you can do. Let me say something: you're not always going to get the ball. Having played high school football, I'm going to tell you, you're not always going to get the ball. You're not always going to. Sometimes there's more what you could do without the ball than what you can do within the ball. Are you still going to run the routes precision? Are you still going to do dedication on blocking? Are you still going to put forth the effort to at least every time to make the DB respect that, this guy, whether he gets the ball or not, he's running his routes hard. And that's one thing I wanted to say about that. Najee Harris, I get the utmost respect for you. I do think that you're a great running back who's had 1,000-yard season, which is you should have been coming back here. But honestly, I'm just going to not lie to you. They're probably going to look for different options for you. But as somebody who was critical of you, I would say that you did a good job showing your toughness. Jalen Warren, that's my guy. I think Jalen Warren is a really good runner downhill. It just was unfortunate. Oh, speaking of which, we hit two times to get 1 yard. Russell Wilson in our offense, we did a QB sneak. Now, originally, I thought we got it. He was short. He just falls down, anticipated the contact. Like, if you notice, if you ever see Josh Allen do it, or Mahomes do it, or Hurst do it, they normally keep running forward. They're not going to go down because of it. Hey, they're not going to fall down because they see the defender. They're going to keep moving 4 yards because it's just inches. And we couldn't get a yard. But that's the problem. When you don't execute some plays momentum, you get the other team momentum to win the game. And now that they've won now that they took the momentum, they're going to go drive down the field. Because now what this has done for those Bengals fans out there, congratulations, you won the game. Now it puts pressure on the Chiefs and Broncos. Oh, sorry, on the Broncos now because now the Broncos have to win. The Dolphins have to win because if they both lose, the Bengals get in the playoffs. And honestly, if Cincinnati gets in the playoffs, they could be a very scary, formidable team in the playoffs. It all comes down to pressure. It all comes down to execution. You want to go into the playoffs hot and that cold. Can you turn it around in the playoffs? Of course, because the playoffs are a new season. I mean, I will just say that the playoffs is its own beast in itself. But rather lose now than lose in the playoffs. But we got to do some things better as far as the Steelers. We got to execute better. We got to be a better cohesion. Honestly, my best advice to Tom would be because you're the coach. You know, you've been around these guys since, well, some of them for all their whole careers, and some of them just a few, for a few months. I would say get some packages with Justin Fields. If you know if he's healthy enough to go. I believe he is. Just get some packages in there for him, at least to throw the defense. At least to throw the defense off guard and stuff like that. I think that would really help us. Just more cohesion as far as the receiver unit. I think that we can turn the ship around. But again, I wanted to say congratulations to the Baltimore Ravens for being the 2024 AFC North champions, and for the Bengals for winning the game. Those are important. Uh, Honestly, it comes down to just having to do better execution. But we will know that honestly, if next week is the first round one wild card playoffs, we'll find out. I just wanted to say thank you, each and every one of you for taking time to listen to the video today. I appreciate it. I appreciate the fact that we're growing, and I did want to say thank you to everybody who watched the videos. Thank you for over 50 views. I want to say I think that that's incredible for me personally. Anytime, even if I get one view, I say thank you because somebody took time out their day to watch it. That being said, there's still more football that's currently being played right now, so I would have more analysis on that when all the games are done. I know there's a Sunday night thriller between the Detroit Lions, Minnesota Vikings. That should be a beautiful one, and I'll give you my analysis on that when that game ends, and or even when that game wraps up, and I'll probably do one prior to tell you the upcoming AFC NFC playoff picture because right now as we stand. Saints are ahead of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the last time I checked, the Panthers are tied with the Falcons. Because this is interesting for the NFC South. If Tampa Bay loses and the Falcons win, the Falcons get a playoff spot. So this is interesting. Um, but that was just one thing I wanted to mention. I just want to say thank you all for the views and everything else, and I look forward to giving you guys more content soon.